Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. So today I am coming here with another project in Django and hope it will be quite exciting one to you all. So what's the project, right? So let me show you. That is, we know how to create a project in Django. That is, we will type the command Django-admin start project and you will give any suitable name you want, and how you will go to the project folder. We know that is, you will give the cd, then you will go to the you will type the name of the project folder of your. Inside that you will create your app folder, giving the command that is Django-admin space start app space, then you will give the name of your app, whatever name you want. Then you will type code space create, that is a dot. It will open your VS code. We are opening VS code as I have told, because all the dependencies are stored in the requirements.txt file. Then upon that we will type python manage.py run server to start our development server. Upon hitting enter, we will get the localhost address. Just copy it and paste it in your browser. You see, you got a web page, and here if you give anything you want, that is RJ, and I will clicking the submit button, what is happening, it's telling welcome RJ. So how it's happening, you are excited to know, right, how this total framework is working. So let me show you the code, what is happening here. First, when the user visits the form page, then it will take the get request. That is, when the user opens the page, that is when I have opened the page for the first time. When I have opened the page for the first time, let me stop here. That is when I'm just giving this localhost 8000, and then I'm hitting enter. Since it don't have any, it will go to the urls.py file. Then it will, that is when I'm visiting the page for the first time, it will match with the route parameter in urls.py file. So it gets matched with the urls.py file with the route parameter. Then it will, what it will do, it will hit the URL mapping linked to the gate name view. So we know that inside views file we are having the gate name function. So upon coming here, what it will do, it will, since it's a get request, it will execute the else block of code. Why it is executing else block of code? Because it is not a post request, it is get request. Because it is telling the form that is initialized as empty, and it will send the index HTML template for display. So what it is happening in a GC fighter, so when the user is visiting the form for the first time, it will have the get request, and this request hits the URL mapped in this urls.py file. Upon getting this, it will go to the views.py file as get name function is defined here. It will not execute this if block of code because still now the user haven't gave any data because the form is empty. So it will execute this else block of code. Then it will render the request, the H template, and the form as a context to this HTML file. And upon coming here, it will execute this block of code. When the user, upon hitting this, giving something data, that is now the user has entered a data, then the browser will send the post request with the form data to the Django server. So upon getting hitting this submit button, it will get the post request. So now which part of block will be executed in views.py? This if part of block, because now request.method equals to post. Upon hitting this, it will take this request dot post, that is name form request dot post, that is the form is populated with the submitted data as the form got submitted. Then it will check if the form is valid. If the input contains only alphabetical characters, so how it will check? It will go for the form validation purposes, that is in forms.py, as we have told that the max length should be 100. And here we have defined a function, and inside that function we have taken the name, and we are checking if the name is alphabetical, means if it is alphabetical, then it will show error that name should contain only alphabetical characters. Then that means and the name should not be more than 3 characters. Upon getting that, it will, that is we are defining here that the max line equals to 3, and if it is again greater than 3, then it will show that the name should not exist the max length character. There, here we are giving a validation total 2, that is 1, that is the name should only contains alphabetical character, and the name should not get a max length of more than 3. Upon getting this satisfaction, that is upon this validation, we will return the name here. Upon getting the name cleaned, that is the input is totally cleaned and it's contain only alphabetical character, and there is not more than 3 characters, suppose satisfying this condition, then it will render the request and the HTML, that is the template, and the name context to this welcome.html file, and here the rest of the part will be executed. Suppose if the user gives some invalid input, then obviously the form is valid returns false, and it will re-render the HTML and it will give the error message. That is error handling in this index. Suppose when the user has given some invalid input, then it will form displays the error message using this crispy form. We have taken, see here we have used a crispy form. So what is this crispy form, right? So it is nothing but using this crispy form, it helps to simplify the re-rendering and styling of Django form. It helps us to easily apply CSS framework, that is like Bootstrap, to forms, improving their appearance and usability without rendering manual styling for each field. That is, we don't have to write HTML for each field to add labels, input types, and classes. That is, for every level, input type and classes, we don't have to write the HTML code. We, thus it helps us to reduce this repetitive code. That is, we have don't you we have to we can avoid the dry principle, that is don't repeat yourself concept. That is the main fundamental thing we are doing here. And if you have any okay, another thing, that is in settings.py we have to give inside the install app we have to give this three we have to declare this three install apps, and that's the main thing we are doing here. So if in a gist, if I tell you what is happening, that is this Django handles both the form submission and the validation smoothly. Here the GET request shows an empty form and the post request processes the user input. Here the crispy form ensures that the forms looks good with Bootstrap styling. Errors are shown on invalid input and a welcome message is displayed on a valid input. And if you check in this forms.py, in this the function, that is the clean name, here It's check that if the input contains non-alphabetical characters, a validation error is raised, and if it's a valid, a clean name is returned for further use. Just in a gist, if we are talking, then when the user visits the form for the first time, it will render an empty form. When the user fills the data, it will submit the form and it will give a post request. Then the Django will validate the input. If the valid input is valid, it will display a welcome message. And if it's an invalid input, it will render a error message. And Bootstrap and Crispy form are here used for a good looking and a responsive page. And obviously, remember that in views.py file you have to give this line, that is form dot forms we're importing the name from, because the name form class has been mentioned in forms.py file here. So that is the main thing we are doing here. And I hope you have understood. I know a little bit complex type, so just see the video, and if you have any question then you can ask me in the comment section. I hope you all are doing great. Have a great day. Bye bye. Stay tuned to the next video. Bye.